Only $10?
Only 10?
I came here just to win $10.
No, no, $10 per person, ladies and gentlemen. So there is.
And we got more than 300 people.
Yes, there's almost $3,000.
That's like $3,000, yeah.
Look, but $10 can get you a lot, though.
That's 2 Chipotle bowls if you really stretch it.
Right, exactly.
So we're going to see VinnyG, the Tampa extraordinaire snake.
Otherwise known as Rival.
Yeah, I was about to say.
The artist formerly known.
And this young gentleman has always been on the forefront of just developing meta, creating new things. So I love the fact that he's playing Snake. You know, he did really, really well in DBZ as well. I remember at CEO Taku, he got 9th place. So these guys are all around everywhere, man.
Very talented.
Fundamentals across the board, because Snake's one of those characters where, like, if you play Smash, you can play a lot of different characters, but playing Snake is just a completely different mindset.
Yeah, playing Snake requires a lot of just trap knowledge, a lot of mind games in your opponent's head. And the thing is that, like, I feel like Snake players just evolve and evolve and evolve every time they play, just because it's constant bomb setups, it's constant reads, constant spacing, constant edge traps, everything.
Yeah, this character's very inviting, and I say that because he laid a little house of traps for you, kind of like Home Alone.
Home Alone, nothing. This is Saw 8 right now.
So let's see what PurplePear can do here. I love Ganondorf, man. Seeing Ganondorf is so exciting in this game. But, you know, being a slower character like this, how do you get in on Snake?
You have to make every hit count.
Yeah, especially since Ganon is such a huge character. He gets hit by so many projectiles. Like, all Snake has to do is just throw a grenade at him since it has an active hitbox, and then from there, Snake can follow up easy.
And every time he tries to land with these hitboxes, too. Uh-oh, sticky on deck. Oh, good shield on that, though.
Up in the air. Have to land here. Nair is a good option, I would say, for landing. You know, down air a little overcommittal at times, but Nair just has almost no lag.
Ledge pressure is something nasty right now.
Oh, yeah. And just shielding, too, understanding that, you know, it's going to be hard to get a dash grab, especially dash grabs are so committal in this game. So I say, all right, you know, when I finally give you that one opening, I'm already ready with my shield.
And it's so difficult for Ganon to really get up there and challenge Snake. Very few characters can really pressure him up in the air when he does that high recovery. Ganon nowhere near the height on his jumps to get up there.
Oh, man, it's so hard for Ganon to get in on Snake.
And you see, I mean, Vinny really just playing with his food at this point.
Yeah, because every time Ganon has a chance to get in, and up tilt is going to take that game. But every time Ganon had a chance to come in, Vinny just always had a grenade option to just hit Ganon out. And there was an instance earlier where Snake had a C4 on the ground. Ganon opted in for a dash attack to close in the gap to keep himself safe from the C4, but there was a grenade already on top, preventing Ganon from that collision.
Huge hitbox.
So
But
Dave,
it's insane.
tell me about that get out of jail free card. How do you work around that? How do you get like past the defenses of Snake?
Past the defenses of Snake. Really gonna have you have an item game. You really need to have an item game. You need to know like how to instant catch the grenades, throw them back, or what you want to do with them, because sometimes they'll expect you to throw it back. You gotta really avoid stages. Gotta really blend in his projectiles and his C4s into the ground. Like PS4, I wouldn't suggest going there because it obscures it. Lilat, I don't know if it lets still going.
Is that what you call it, PS4? So I was expecting PurplePear to go for a switch off here, so it looks like we're going to see the Marth.
I like this matchup.
Yeah, it gives you a little bit more spacing, you know.
Mobility, too. Like, when you get in on Snake, when you finally press past his defense, how much can you take one hit? I mean, how far can you take one hit?
And one more thing, Dave, as you were saying, understanding the timing of those grenades is pivotal in this match. Because a lot of times, people will catch the grenades on accident and they won't throw it away because they're too afraid that it's going to explode in their face. So they're just going to hold shield and let the Snake set up a billion other projectiles. Like, again, this corner pressure is really where VinnyG is shining. But now corner, PurplePear doing all right.
Faring better than it was before, because once we have that mobility, I mean, the range on his sword, you could definitely get a juggle going and get some damage on, like, stay under him.
And the other big thing is that Snake's going to try to keep you at that medium length range, just outside of most characters' hitboxes. But that's where Marth wants to be. You know, we talk about how Lucina is such a good character in this game because of her consistent hits. But the fact that you're constantly putting yourself at tipper length makes it really difficult. But do not land.
That's anti-air, man.
Watch out. This is a kick in the face, man.
I'm Snake, man. I got my parachute. I know the sky.
And this is definitely a great choice from Pear. Going into Marth. Just a disjoint spacing and everything is helping him out in this matchup versus game 1. Ganon just doesn't have that reach or space options to handle out Snake, but Marth, like you said, the tippers are going to be great in this matchup, and Vinny has to stay within that range to fully have full control over his explosives. So this is going to be a really tricky matchup for him.
Absolutely. And we see, a little bit of that unfamiliarity with grenades there. Grenades are throwing it upwards and then holding shield for an excessive amount of time, expecting it to come back down and trying to protect himself when really the explosion already happened. For those who don't know, I believe it's a 2.5-second timer on grenade pulls.
Yeah.
And so, like, the Snake Mains, of course, are going to be well aware of how long. They've got the one Mississippi in their head every time.
So you should also know this about the grenades. In order to drop them and use them as regular items, throw them that quickly, you have a few options. You can roll, you can hold shield, or you can grab. Or spot dodge. Those are the 4 different options you can do to kind of just grab those grenades, which is what you see there. They'll set them up, then they'll re-grab and throw them real quick. Maybe do some Z drops.
It was great DI.
Yeah, it was great DI.
Yeah, Kalos on the bigger side, of course, of our legal stages, but not going to be able to live past that. That's such a good setup for Snake.
Yeah,
that down throw, I believe it starts at like 161, 162. You just true combos into up tilt for Snake, and that just obliterates the cast. And for a character with this kind of damage output, it's such a great option for him.
What we also saw from Pear there, combating the up smash, and you can do this with a bunch of the projectiles with your own disjointed aerials. Actually attacking those projectiles can be a good way to get in. So you have to be aware of that as well. Don't be too afraid of those explosions.
And that's the thing that where Snake excels in. If you don't know how to play the matchup properly and you give in to clear the projectiles, wow, that was C4.
Watch your feet, dog. The same.
I forgot that he planted that too.
I didn't even see that. I actually did not see
field.
that. Wow.
And it's so scary too, because if you lose track of that, that has a built-in 25-second timer. So even if the Snake Main doesn't blow it up like we saw there to finish up its set, you still have a live explosive that's going to take out a good chunk of the cast right around 100%.
Do you know if the explosion is the same strength?
Yes. Yeah, no, I've seen probably one of the most craziest things I've seen in the early stages of Smash Ultimate was ice studying out at Valhalla. One of the first tournaments we saw was parrying the 25-second timed explosion. Like literally was like, this has been placed, I know when this is going to go off, and literally just like, bink, and then went into an Greninja combo.
Man's got an eternal clock, or he's watching the clock in the corner.
It's crazy good.
Speaking of Greninja, man, top 5 character?
Top 5.
Top 5 character.
Boy, Leia put that beating on Sam's sword.